Okay. And now I just need to swap them around because they're wrong. Amazing. Alright, it's going really well so far, guys. Alrighty. So, yes, I'm on a clean field. I don't have to click anything. So, actually, to cast in the game, sorry, 5 minutes. I've been obviously very distracted because of the issues. And let's get into it as we have ourselves, well, Clem building a Marauder or two. He's got Marauders coming across the map, so this is going to be pretty aggressive from him here on Starchild. This map definitely came out as one of the pretty solid candidates from this TLMC map pool. I kind of forgot about all the maps that we casted in TLMC. Here we go, Hellbat's wolfing in. The Medevac goes down super quickly though, so Clem is immediately in a lot of trouble here. Because these Hellbats will roast through quite a few Zerglings. The Viking pushing an Overlord back, but I mean, you get rid of a lot of Lings, but now you've got all of these Queens to try to get rid of. To be fair, so far it's not going too badly. The only problem is you need these Marauders to hit the slows so that the Hellbats can keep up and actually get themselves the kills. This is very committed from Clem. Remember, this is one of the most committed Hellbat attacks that you can go for even, so that part of this has to be remembered as well, that while he does get quite a few kills, his investment here was very high compared to even just, other Hellbat attacks. He does honestly pretty well. He gets every single Queen pretty much. He's forced some Spine Crawlers. I think the biggest issue now is that, well, maybe not even an issue, but just something that could have been done differently is just these final couple of units that just ran down through the center. They just didn't necessarily need to be here. Things counter-attacking, a few more SCVs going down, Hellion as well. And just going to be seeing these things continuing to come on by. Just going to hit in and a few SCVs continue to drop for the moment. Just going to be seeing the 5 SCVs having gone down. A couple of Lings is going to finally get cleaned up as well. So Clem is the one that really loses workers on the tail end of all of this. So Clem's the one losing some workers. 5 SCVs dead. 5 SCVs, I mean, he's just down by almost 20 workers coming out of all of this. Like, yes, Dark has to reset his Queen count a little bit and everything, but you know what I mean? Like, definitely not ideal. As that orbital in the front is going to get set up. I'm just going to be seeing a few Marines continue to build our stim pack about to finish. Everything gathering at the front here from Clem, but do not feel like this is going to be too pretty of a situation for him at all. Orbital lands crossover into position, just going to be seeing our Liberator and 10 Marines. It's pretty much all we've got. We really don't have much, and I think these Mutalisks are actually going to be pretty deadly for Clem because he just doesn't have anything to really fight against them. Like, the Marine count is okay, but he doesn't have the Marines to cover all of his bases. He doesn't have the turrets up to help him buy any time. And Dark is just monster moding onto 5 bases now, just continue to expand. And Clem has a lonely Liberator to try and harass with. Well, we obviously don't even want to use the Mutas to clean this up just yet because these Mutalists want to go across the map and just want to go, as big as possible. So these Mutas, yeah, I mean, honestly, this could be kind of somewhat game-ending as they fly in here. You're going to get a bunch of SCVs on the main base that Clem just isn't really prepared to deal with. 6, 7, 8 SCVs going down almost instantly, so a ton of damage done there. Here come the Marines, but if we fly out to the 3rd base, right? What's over here? Well, no Marines. We've got to get the Medevac trip down to the low ground. That's the only way we can get over here to try and help defend this. And, yeah, the Mutas, one of them will go down. We get a couple Marines as well, but we're already talking about some pretty serious amounts of damage here. The Mutalisks absolutely putting Dark into a fantastic position. The early hold was just good enough for him, following up with the Mutas after, and just getting some damage done as well. A few extra SCVs going down, slowing down some production and everything. Definitely having a bit of an impact. Let me just continue to pull back down to the south. The Marines and the Hellions will come through. The couple of Cryptumers will continue to get busted down for the moment. We got ourselves the rest of this Wing Bane wanting to come back along and just going to be seeing our Banes looking to come on through here. Just going to be coming straight on by, and these Marines are in a whole chunk of trouble, to be quite honest with you. Just going to be seeing the Mutas coming by as well. A couple of Hellbats will get picked off, and these things will continue through looking for as many Marines as possible. GG, says Clem. And that will be our first game. Dark gets the first map victory. Sorry for the tech issues and stuff, guys. As we'll be back into that in a few moments. Alright, in the bottom left-hand corner, our blue Zerg player is Dark. Now we have names. Are they going to stay there, or are they going to get replaced again? Because now I need to know what I'm doing with the names. Question mark. In the top right-hand side, our red Terran player is Clem. Give us a moment, guys. Clem did not win map 1. Dark won map 1. I'm waiting to see if they're going to keep these names on or not. Okay, well, I guess I'll hide my own name tags then. Everything died for literally a single game. My goodness. That's even more frustrating. Alright. Alright, game number 2. As we have ourselves in the top right, Clem in the bottom left, Dark. Sorry, guys. A little tilted about how it all started up. But, yeah, we're just going to be having ourselves a little bit of getting going, and we have ourselves a Rax coming down. It is a spawning pool first on the side of Dark. He's going to drop the hatchery too. He's going to get that set up. For the moment, as we got Overlord of Dark is making its way out to the upper right-hand corner. This map's kind of big, guys. As the pool first comes in, I kind of wonder what Dark's plan is. Instant roach roaring. This is not really a roach map. You know, like this map is absolutely huge. There might be some logic to playing roaches because you want to take down the rocks in the corner eventually. But this is like an aggressive roach bush, which is going to take an absolute eternity to get across to the other side. That would be kind of intriguing. So yeah, guys, again, just to reiterate, these are TLMC maps. These are not necessarily maps which will make the ladder map pool. These are just a selection of the maps from the TLMC that they've used for this map pool, so that something fun, something interesting about the tournament, right? No, you know, just in case the player list wasn't good enough for you all. Now it's just something a little bit extra as well. So now Reaper heading to the upper right is going to go hiding away. I'm just going to be having the few roaches already coming out. And that's kind of what you want to be scouting here. I mean, Clem does have the SCV across the map as well, checking the bases and seeing no third hatch being taken early. And these first few roaches popping out, and Clem just staying home, man. I mean, he knew it was pool first as well, so he knows maybe there's lings coming. Now that there's no lings, he does want to get confirmation on these roaches. The SCV gets it, so that's perfect. Now Clem can pull back, and he can begin to get his defense ready. That should mean Reactor is going to continue to produce Marines here. It should mean that the factory just gets a Tech Lab and a Cyclone straight away. And it means that Clem will be moving away from that Hellion-based opening for the next few moments at the very least. Second Ravager is going to morph in, and Dark will get up to the high ground here. Couple Ravagers, couple Roaches moving through. We just got our first corrosive bile going down under the supply depot, so some damage will begin to take place. Like I say, Clem has the bunker. The depot likely to go down. Can we save the second depot? I think yes. That one should be repairable by SCVs without putting the SCVs in too much danger. So I'm kind of surprised if that didn't go too well, if he wasn't able to keep this alive. Yeah, again, as soon as the Cyclone pops, you start to have much better defense against this Roach Ravager. But then you can lock on with the Cyclone and you can get some permanent damage done. And he's actually hello? God, that Cyclone reached a long way. I was kind of wondering about vision, but obviously the orbital command on the low ground is providing the vision, so that's fine. This one Ravager will do everything it can, but honestly, very good defense initially from Clem. Yes, Dark is droning up behind this. He's on a worker lead, but the rest of his tech is very delayed. This is so much gas investment in the early game. He doesn't have a third hatchery, for example, as well. So you might look at if you just look at the numbers on the bottom of the screen, you're like, oh yeah, this worked for Dark. But when you look at everything else combined, it actually was pretty rough for Dark, and he doesn't even keep many units alive, right? He keeps one Ravager alive. Did he even keep the one Ravager alive? I don't think so, right? So he loses everything, so he's completely reset in terms of unit count. And that makes it very, very difficult for Dark now, because any attack that Clem makes, he's going to be building from absolutely zero. And you can already see he had to stop here to make some Zerglings, for example, to have a little bit of initial safety. And those Zerglings are going to cut into what could have been potential drones. So yeah, just all the little things have definitely gone against Dark here. And Clem looking very good so far here on Game 2, Lazarus Wastes. I do wonder, obviously Dark didn't play in the TLMC that we had. So Dark didn't play in the Team Liquid map contest tournament, but I wonder if, I mean, obviously Clem did, so Clem's got to be more familiar with these maps than Dark, unless Dark's been playing on these last couple of days or so. So that's definitely one thing to note, right? It's like, you know, these are new maps, but some of these players have played a bunch of games on these maps before because they played in the map contest. So, like I said, that could definitely be an advantage that we see today, and players playing around that. Wow, was this really intended as a second wave of an attack? The target fire with the siege tank, by the way, as well, pushes the Ravager away. Will not let that go anywhere. And just going to be seeing this orbital command coming down to the low ground. Is going to get into position here. Is going to set up. And just going to be having the feelings, having all retreated back home. Just getting themselves established here as well. Back coming up, +1 attack on the way in. And the +1 armor for good measure. Again, Dark is still without the lair. He didn't achieve anything on that attack, right? Like, if he kills any Marines, it's worse for him, absolutely, because he's playing this kind of, yeah, it's just absolutely worse for him. There's no two ways around it, quite frankly, so definitely a little less than ideal, to say the very least. As, yeah, we do just have ourselves a Clem kind of amassing an army. I'm kind of intrigued. I mean, Dark's going to play Roaches and 1-1 missiles, but not sure that will necessarily be a game saver or a game changer or anything for him. It's not like, I mean, a Roach time is kind of off the table, right? Because you can still get a lot of units quickly, but those units aren't going to be enough to bust through a Terran who's... Because the Roach attack is so slowed down by what's happened so far. So then what, we're going to play like a macro Roach game? It almost feels like Dark is just hoping for Clem to do... I mean, maybe not a bad idea, but... For example, if Clem loves to be aggressive, and if Clem gets overly aggressive and attacks into Dark, and Dark is just massing 3 base Roaches, that's where Dark can very easily win a fight, and then maybe very easily counterattack to some advantage, so... Yeah, I think Clem's biggest weakness here might just be his want to get aggressive. I mean, his upgrades are going to be on time, so there's going to be no upgrade advantage from Dark. He's building a 4th hatchery, and we'll see if he'll start up any further upgrades once 1-1 is done to suggest maybe a possibility of a macro focus in this, but and yeah, he has Clem moving out. How much has he got? Does he just have enough to lift in the medevacs? He would be able to save the majority of this, I suppose, with medevacs, but it is a couple of siege tanks as well. It's a little dangerous, but he's going to pre-siege. You can see army supplies do favor Dark. That's typically what Roaches do. They provide a lot of army supply very quickly. So that's definitely something of a factor. This Clem still just kind of wandering around down to the south. We'll get a scan, and a couple of creep teams begin to go down. Tanks will siege. You're just going to be seeing our Roach Ravager just going to come in and swarm this position. Both of these corrosive vials going to hit, and yeah, like I say, this is just the last thing you want to be doing as Clem. Just being on the map, it's actually kind of crazy. Literally 2 days ago. No, you told him this on it was Wednesday night, no, Reno? A Wednesday night, me, Reno, and Clem and Skillis were sat there talking about things, and you literally flamed him for attacking into Roaches and Ravagers. Sometimes like, unlucky. But yeah, I mean, it's going to lose him this game potentially, right? I mean, this was an incredibly good position. The one thing you could do to lose this was to go and attack, and yeah, it's actually kind of crazy because I was there, right? we actually talked about this a few days ago. Like, I can get it if you think Dark is transitioning, but, look for that information or have some confirmation, right? Because the fact that this was just kind of 3 base Roach production means that you've just lost all of your advantage because you just attacked into, instead of Dark having to attack into a defensive position and the map helping you out, you've taken all of your advantages away to give Dark the one opportunity that he needs to bring this back. Bio will stim here again. Clem just moving forwards, right? And his tanks as well. It's not like this is the bio coming forward to then like, oh, I'm just going to back away to my tank line. The tanks were also here. It's so aggressive from Clem. I mean, for the moment, he's kind of dealing with it, but this is, again, off of the start, a way closer game than what it ever originally needed to be, right? Clem was somewhat fortunate. The bios had to go off into the middle of the bio this time. If the Biles had went off onto the siege tanks and lost a couple of those, and you, well, why, like, again, we're pushing the gain, right? Is this not just crazy? Let's see, the tanks again just taking a while to get sieged up. Now Corrosive Biles will drop on, taking down one of them. The other surviving. I think this time Clem is actually going to have a good enough of a fight, so he does just have enough. The tanks do manage to siege and be part of this as well, but yeah, I guess this one right, you're in the middle of Dark teching up to a whole bunch of things. He's put his money elsewhere. This one kind of makes a bit more sense, but the first push just seems so unnecessary. And, you know, make Dark fight into you, and then you could have done this push much earlier, much more easily, right? So Clem making it a little bit more exciting than perhaps ever needed to be. He scans and catches the roaches that were trying to burrow forward as well, so good catch on that. Doesn't let that do any damage at all, basically. As these few queens continue to get battered away. I'm just going to be seeing all of this bio. Well, we need another scan here. Clem sees it again. The roach is just scanned and dying in a moment. Yeah, nice. I mean, nice little execution of this fight, no doubt. But like I say, Clem made this kind of scary, to be honest with you. He made this very scary. 1-1 tied up in this best of 3. I keep forgetting that I have to. So we are going to be starting down in the bottom left corner of the map with the blue Zerg player. This is Dark from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. In the top right, our Red Terror from Team Liquid. This is Clem. Royal Blood. Royal Blood. This is I really like this map. It's got a gold base on the edges that has the gold, the back of the gold mineral line is like completely exposed. So the back of that gold mineral line is just completely exposed. It means it's very easy for units to get down there and to harass. So the gold base is not an easy take in the slightest. You're going to have a lot of map control there. Catch gas and pool. Coming up from Dark. I'm just going to see the first barracks already building from Clem. Get this going. STV is just going to come by and the Overlord will see that, of course. Again, everything's standard here for the moment. Yeah, I really did like this map. I really felt like this map had a good chance of being the best map in the TLMC. Ooh, I don't know if you heard that. I just full-on kicked my desk trying to put my leg on my PC. Ouch. Alright, well, desk kicking aside. However, early game is pretty uninteresting for the moment. Like I say, it's just very, very plain, normal. We do go Marine, no Reaper, which means that obviously you have a little bit of a faster factory because you're skipping the 50 gas requirement for the Reaper. So you can just go straight past that and factory comes up a little bit sooner. Or did he actually get the Reaper and I'm just being very blind? I don't like casting with a clean feed. I think he's got a Reaper. It's harassing across the map. We're just not looking at it. Never mind. I'm so used to... There's one of these funny things where I'm so used to if there's a Reaper out just following it across the map because it's usually the most interesting thing. When we're not following it, I just make the assumption, so apologies, guys. So there is indeed a Reaper out, and obviously then... I mean, this is just pretty standard, and the factory wasn't any faster than usual. Reaper into the one Marine as well, then the reactor lines up for the factory nicely. The one Marine is nice just in case there's something you need to deal with back at home. A couple links slip out and around. And it can also be used to kind of divert an Overlord initially as well, get some early damage on if it pokes in too soon, for example. 6 additional drones. Our Ling speed is all producing here in Dark. Trying to get all of this up and running. 31 to 27 workers, 13 to 8 army supply. It's very, like I say, it's very standard compared to the last 2 games. Game 1, that Hellbat attack with Marauders. Game 2, instead of the Hellbat attack with Marauders, we obviously saw Dark get aggressive with the early Roach attack, and then the full-on 3-base Roach aggression. And this time, yeah, just probably the most standard macro you're going to see. Banshee starts from Clem, and he can start up his cloak in a few moments as well, so he'll be moving in towards that. Just needs to get the 100 gas for the cloaking. And Hellion Banshee is obviously a very standard way to play, and a very safe way to play against Dark as well, who a lot of the time really does just enjoy coming out with, he really does just enjoy coming out with a little bit of roach aggression, roach pressure. Not necessarily all in, but the sort of thing which can do very well if you're not paying like good attention, if you're, not even if you're not paying good attention, but if you're just caught slightly unawares, you can lose 5-6 SCVs, and Dark is already building up behind it, and those 5-6 SCVs can really be very detrimental. So the Banshee just helps against anything along those lines, for example. So that definitely helps as we have our feelings from Dark. Actually, an initial counterattack. It's only 6 Zerglings, it's not a lot, but it does mean that, if there's nothing on there naturally, you can get rid of a few SCVs very quickly, but there are 2 Hellions. Clem has not been overly greedy, sending everything across the map. And for Dark, he just turns this into a 2 Zergling sacrifice. Bit of a scout. Gets up there, sees a couple of the barracks building. Just gets to see that this is basically a very normal way of getting going for the moment. Couple drones do go down. Just going to be having ourselves the 4 additional racks from Clem, so all of his production coming online. I've not really seen the Banshees yet. Clem talked about this during Home Story Cup, though. He said he kind of likes keeping the Banshees back early and kind of just waiting for a couple of Banshees, then coming in with the Hellions at the same time, and trying to get some damage all done at once. I believe that's what's happening here. Banshee number 2, I think, is moving down to the bottom side. I appreciate, by the way, the quality is not the best it's ever been. But, yeah, even I'm struggling to see a couple of things on the mini-map here and there, so apologies as I hear the Banshee shooting at a little bit of creep spread or so, I suppose. As they shoot a little bit of creep spread, we're just going to be seeing the Banshees continuing through the bottom. Just going to have our Queen sat right there, ready to punch back the Banshees at a moment's notice. Because our drone is going to go and build the hatch up. Just going to see our Hellions coming through. Now, Lings will slip on by into this mineral line. A lot of these SCVs going to get nibbled out immediately. So an immediate counterattack. Now, what can Clem do across the map? Because this is a really good counterattack already. Clem across the map, I don't think is getting very far. I believe the Queens are holding him off. But whatever happened down there has already been kind of sent back. So Clem's army had to retreat away. 16 SCVs and a lot of Marines that came in to help here as well. So Clem having a very bad time. I think it was just the Hellions that were over here, right? And that's exactly what you needed back at home, and it's exactly what will not find a lot of damage on a fresh new 4th base. So, yeah, Clem with the wrong units in the wrong units in the places that they needed to be. Fortunately, is going to cost him a little bit early on. And Dark, 14 worker lead. I'm actually impressed by Clem's army supply. I thought he was going to be a bit worse off than that at this point in time, but I'm kind of surprised Clem's ahead in supply, because this run by to me was so massive. It felt as though that should have been, yeah, it really felt as though we were going to get a little bit of something kind of really going in Dark's favor. Like, I thought he'd be, up a lot right now. He is going Infestation Pit, 1-1 upgrades, Bane Speed coming, but not ready yet. This timing actually might be a little bit funky, right? I mean, Dark doesn't have anything. Like, no 1-1, no Baneland speed. This is a very difficult fight for him. He's already setting up the counterattack around the top left because he knows that fighting this straight up is going to be extremely unrealistic, perhaps. How's Clem have? He's got a few Marines here, so that defense should be good. Love to see just what exactly those Lings get done. Okay, they mostly just die off, so nothing too exciting. The fight over here will be the interesting one as we go in. This hatcher on the bottom side will be taking a lot of hits. So that hatch goes down, and these few Lings and the few Banelings will make their way around the right-hand side. I'm just going to be seeing the attempts to deal damage coming through here. I'm just going to be seeing our Marines coming through. A couple of Banes crash into tanks, but I mean, they have that bailing speed now. At least I believe they have their 1-1. Yeah, it's on the side of the screen. It's just about to finish. So this is finally getting a little bit better for Dark, but maybe a little bit too little too late, because Clem's supply is absolutely banging. I mean, amazing counterattack, just cleans out the entirety of the 3rd base. This game was very good for Clem until that happened. That is extremely costly. And that might be very problematic. Alright, well, Clem haven't lost a lot of SCVs. What is going to happen next as a few Marines are poising to come forward? He is attacking the left-hand side as well. Big drop over here, gets some drones. That's nice. Shut down some Dark economy at the same time as he's just lost a bunch of his own. And these Marines are, you know, in theory, very savable. In fact, he has a tank over here as well. So Clem is already on a pretty hefty split push on the right side. There's a few Marines pressing forward. They run pretty much headfirst into the wings. So they're actually okay for now. The Queens will help to hold off. Dark is still in a lot of army supply trouble. And just losing those few drones means he doesn't quite have, again, that extra oomph when it comes to the economy, as he might be expecting here. Wings, Veins making their way down. Just going to be seeing them looking to get a wraparound. Obviously, Clem is restabilized his third, although we do see units making their way back across the map. There's no wall in the naturals, so I mean, Clem really does have to deal with these counterattacks somehow. And again, fully saturated third base, going to be forced to evacuate. Maybe the medevac, I was going to say, it can lift up some of these SCVs. The Banes will kill everything. But Dark's going to lose a lot as well, because I mean, what's essentially happening is Dark is going to try and defend this with pretty much purely Banelings, right? That's what this is going to come down to here. These two Banes go down. I mean, the thing is, for Clem, there is a world in which Banelings are just very efficient and very effective in these scenarios, but as long as he doesn't let too many Banelings come up and this army can always stand around, it's always going to be good enough for him. And he does get the GG. Clem 2-1 over Dark in the first match of the day.